Slash, your horror movie podcast.
All right, dude. Hackstabslash, welcome back. It's your boy Hacky. It's some stranger wearing glasses. I think it might be Batman.
I know. If anyone watching on YouTube, I'm still the same person. Don't be intimidated. You're probably like, hey, that guy looks wicked smart right now. But honestly, I'm still the same old person. I haven't got any smarter. But yeah, just Justin. Let's go.
I haven't gotten any smarter. We're doing Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving. If you've been with us for a while, we did cover this when it came out of the movie theaters, but it was more of a let's talk about the movie and not really dive into the movie or like go over the movie from start to finish. So me and Justin decided that we actually enjoyed this movie so much as a holiday feature that we're going to do it again.
We're going to do it again. We're going to do it right this time. And before, you know what? I want to jump right into this, but I don't want to slow us down too much. But before, let's talk about Thanksgiving side real fast. My family almost disowned me. What's your favorite Thanksgiving side? And what do you feel about green bean casserole? That's my answer. And
now, what kind of green bean casserole? Because if it's made with like cream of mushroom and like those crunchy onion shits on top.
Yeah, the crunchy stuff's so good.
I'm all for it. I am 100% here for it. I love green bean casserole, and no one ever makes it.
No, it's getting like I used to have it all the time, and all of a sudden now I'm not seeing it much. Like the last two Thanksgivings, it hasn't been around, and I've been kind of sad. And then I told my family, and they're like, "What are you talking about? No one even likes that." And I don't know. I like it.
When we did cover this, actually, I had mentioned my sister-in-law Tina makes a wonderful. It's like a carrot and like turnip and like concoction thing, but she uses like butter and she makes it all mashed and like together, dude. And it's always been phenomenal. It's one of my favorites, and not a lot of other people in the family like it. So she used to just make it specially for me. Which is freaking awesome. But if you remember when you and Waterboy talked about this, you got so pissed off at us because we both said bread. There is nothing better than a nice warm piece of bread, a nice dinner roll with some butter on it to go with all the fixings in Thanksgiving. And then you got more pissed off at us because we used the word sop. There is nothing better to sop up all the gravy and leftover mashed potatoes all in one and then just shovel that shit in your mouth.
I do kind of remember. I won't go on my anti-bread rant right now. We'll get into this. But you know what? Anyone who's listening, comment on YouTube if anything. Are you a fan of any of the stuff we said? Or are you pro-bread or anti-bread? I feel like I'm going to lose that one. It just does nothing for your stomach. For the love of God, why would I eat a piece of C? I'm getting angry again. All right. You know what? Let's talk about
I feel like your bread take is about as hot as your candy cone take, but let's get into Thanksgiving.
We'll move on. Candy cone's so good.
I digress.
All right. Who wants to kick this off?
Thanksgiving 2023, Eli Roth masterpiece. We open to two sets of families. I'm not going to do this in order, but I am going to talk about each of these families real quick. We get the rich family, the Wrights. They own Wright Mart. It's like a local Walmart, if you will, in Plymouth. They're celebrating. Oh my God. Celebrating a lavish Thanksgiving where even the stepmom calls out Jessica's boyfriend, Bobby, for being underdressed. And Jessica goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was a crime to be casual in my own house." And she goes, "Don't you mean our house now?" And she's like, "Whatever, fuck this bitch." And then we also meet a very hardworking family, a blue-collar family, a very wholesome family, the Collins. The Collins are celebrating what looks like a better Thanksgiving, in my opinion. That is until Mitch, the bitch, gets a phone call from Thomas Wright, the owner of Wright Mart. And he tells Mitch, "Hey, you need to get into work ASAP because the guy who was supposed to be running the show this Thanksgiving has not fucking showed up. He has gone AWOL, no call, no show. If you do not show up, sir, you, my friend, will lose your job. I don't care that you're sitting down ready to carve the turkey at Thanksgiving."
Honestly, the first scene, I only had like 20 seconds in the first scene. I didn't really care about any of the first families at all first, like the whole like opening scene. I don't know. I don't think it was any character development. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I have no read after the first 1 minute of this movie. I had no read on anything.
Besides, all right, well, let's get into some fucking wild shit, Justin.
Yeah.
Let me put your head on straight with this Thanksgiving.
There we go.
Our next set of scenes, we do catch Bobby and Jessica decide to get the fuck out of town, dude. They're like, "Hey, our friends are here. We're gonna go see a movie." So they get in this truck. And we meet Evan, we meet Gabby, we meet Scuba, and we meet Yulia. They're all going to a movie. But they get stuck in some traffic, dude. And this traffic just happens to be in front of Wright Mart. Evan digresses and he's like, I need a phone because, we got in a fight with some Hanover kids, man. I popped one of these motherfuckers in the eye. And she was too busy filming herself to get some real footage. She calls it cringeworthy. Long story short, these kids make their way into Right Mart. They get out. They run through this crowd because Jessica's family owns Right Mart. They actually go in the back door before anyone's even allowed in this store. And they start like flaunting to like the crowd, like, hey, we got a phone, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Turns out the kid they got into a fight with from Hanover, he's actually in the crowd and he's making a big fucking to-do about this. He's like, why did they get in the store before us? Fuck that, fuck them. Shit's just starting to broil over. And Mitch tells one of the security guards, what's his name, Gary?
Gary, yep.
He's like, hey, man, he's like, lock these doors. Shit is getting wild, and these people are not listening to us. They lock the doors. Mitch is inside. Dude, everything is just ready to broil over. And this good. Kid from Hanover snatches the megaphone from Sheriff Eric, who's handing it off to the security guard. And he snatches it, and he turns around, and he's like, doors are open. Go get your free fucking waffle irons. And drops the megaphone, and the crowd just sprints towards the door.
It's just so funny, especially never mind, like, from being in Plymouth, like, the local references are already friggin' hilarious. Like, most people probably wouldn't care, like, to say, like, there's a fuck Hanover chant and, like, the Hanover guy. Like, that is so funny when you live in Plymouth, and Hanover is literally just, like, a few towns, like, right over there. So to actually hear, like, the local, like, references, I thought that was pretty cool, just, because, I mean...
Bro, talk about local fucking references. Before this whole megaphone incident, the security guard, Manny, is like, you guys need to relax. It's a national fucking holiday. Be patient. And that dude from Hanover straight up goes, be patient, bro. I'm going to turn you into a fucking patient, send you to Mass General. See what I did there? That was pretty funny, huh?
Dude, so funny. And then, like you said, with like this chaos going on, holy shit, you see this door just completely go down. And one of the security guys, like you said, he's like, fuck this. And there's Tim Dillon's guy. He's like, he just ran away. Like, that was like the smartest move I've ever seen. But this other dude, the door falls right on top of him. And people are just running through. They show one guy, pretty sure he has a Bruins jersey on. Another awesome reference.
He gets fucking gouged right in the neck.
He literally goes through and just gets his neck freaking cut. And you see there's people just getting stepped on. People are attacking each other. And never mind, I think is it Evan that's like recording the whole entire thing? He's like literally
dude gets on top of like one of the cash out lanes, and he's like, this shit's gonna break the internet, bro.
Dude, he's loving it so much. Never mind when like one of the moms like falls down and like her hair gets like stuck in a freaking carriage. And this woman just is like kicks her and like pushes the carriage, and part of her scalp. Like,
she gets fucking scalped, bro. Her name is Amanda Collins, and the only reason why she is there is this is Mitch's wife.
It's Mitch's wife.
And she's there to bring him his Thanksgiving dinner because when he got called into work from Thomas Wright, he didn't have enough time to sit down and eat. He literally carved the turkey and pieced the fuck out.
Yeah. And like you said, like her neck gets like freaking like broken after like she's freaking scalped. And like I said, it is just complete chaos. So literally Eric runs in, the sheriff there, and he literally shoots the gun in the air, and boom, we get title card.
Dude, let's not forget, Jessica's boyfriend Bobby is considered Bobby the Golden Arm, whatever, because he's like the best pitcher ever to come out of Plymouth.
Yep.
Like scouted for the majors. And he actually sees that the security guy's alive, and he's like, yo, I can help him.
He tries to help.
And he's trying to fucking army crawl to go help him, bro. And he gets just, I don't know, like judo stomped into his fucking arm, and it looks like it breaks it into 4 pieces.
That thing's not supposed to bend like that. Not supposed to bend like that.
I wanted to throw up. That shit looked disgusting.
Yeah. And like I said, then after all that, we get the shot in the air, title card. And then we flash forward 1 year later.
1 year later. Justin, I just want you to know that this video has gone viral. It took me a dozen times of pausing the TV to try and get the final count before our killer shuts the laptop. Yep. This video has gone viral with 2,497,864 views to be exact. I know because I paused it a dozen times and it took me fucking forever.
That is hilarious. Yeah, because like you said, it keeps showing the numbers going up. And then we see now, I mean, the Right Mart, you think like, they'd be closed after a year, but this year it's going to be open again. And we find out that Bobby, like Sean said, he was like the pitcher and everything. His career ended and he just left. Like he was gone. We see residents are protesting. They are so pissed. I mean, you see, like Mitch is leading the charge, protesting. It is just not good. Cause I mean, like, why would you say open this stuff? It is not good at all. We see them at a diner now, and we see Eric there, the sheriff there, and we have a new diner. I mean, a new diner. A new deputy is arriving, and they're kind of filling him in on all the
Dude,
local
he
tradition
is
and
such
everything.
he is a masshole to a T. He
Oh my
comes
God.
in his big jacked up, I think it's a Ford Bronco.
Yeah.
Someone beeps at him in the parking lot because he's coming in like an asshole. And dude straight up opens the door and he's like, fuck you.
Yeah. The
Like
most
road rage in
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts is just a commonplace.
No, so much. And even like this, the whole diner feels, it literally feels like if you're in Plymouth. And I mean, this was not shot in Plymouth, but it's supposed to be Plymouth, and they do such
I
a
know
good
you were
job.
so disappointed.
I'll tell that story later on. I literally thought I was going to be an extra in this movie. Did not work out. But we even see the diner girl with the, she shows them, gives them like a John Carver mask and everything, and says how like everyone's going to be wearing
Everyone
them.
in town's gonna be wearing
Yeah,
these.
everyone's
They
going to be
cool?
wearing these now.
All
Like,
the
how
kids
cool.
are gonna be running around with masks on their face. They're gonna look adorable.
Oh my God. Sounds like an Adam Sandler skit right there. But never mind. We see like Thomas and stuff in the family, like they're gonna film a commercial, like this, and Thomas is
Dude.
pissed.
Before this, dude, tell me Evan doesn't remind you of like every just nonchalant giant kid that never grew up from high school. He's throwing the axes, and there's a kid next to
Oh
him
my
that's
God.
like very eager to try it. And he reaches for the axes, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, kid, seriously, what are you doing? I just hit the top 2 rungs. That means I get to go again. You need to wait your turn." I love his
He had the mentality
childishness
of
through this
literally like an
whole fucking
11-year-old.
movie.
He was the most, dude. He's the most childish kid. Oh my God, such a ridiculous.
But like you said, dude,
character.
Thomas Wright is pissed off right now.
Oh,
And he's swearing up a storm. Sheriff Eric is actually even in this little festival, and he comes in, and where this family was going to shoot their commercial, the house is fucking trashed. And Eric is like, hey, I have to call this in. I have to shut this down. We have to block this off. When I catch whoever did this, I'm going to persecute them to the fullest extent because they just destroyed a historical landmark. Turns out this is the John Carver house. And the only thing Thomas Wright has to say is, make sure you get him for theft too. And he points to the wall and he was like, there was an axe there. How can it be right, Mart, if we're slashing prices without an axe?
need the axe, man.
When he
Need the
gets
axe.
mad, dude, he sounds like he could be in a deathcore band.
Seriously. Oh my God, put a beat behind that. Let's go.
Oh, let's go. We also meet Jacob. They're back at the diner now. He's floating around and he's handing out flyers for the Makati party. Tell me that isn't something that you would hear in like fucking Dorchester.
Oh, seriously. The
Makati party.
Let's go.
The group of friends turns it down, and Evan's even like, hey, before we even entertain your idea, dude, how about you give me the fucking paper that I'm paying you to write? And Jacob's like, yeah, I'll get to it. Fucking whatever. This time, the group is sitting down, and they're not waiting on Bobby. We realize that he has not only ghosted this town and disappeared, but he has ghosted Jessica for an entire year, giving our man Ryan just enough wiggle room to squeeze in and make his move. So he shows up and trying to impress this friend group, bro. He drops down tickets to the Patriots game on the 50-yard line. I need a friend like this.
Let's go.
Then we meet our killer. He's actually rewatching the video from that night, and he pauses it at the exact point where we see Lizzie, the lady from the diner. She's actually holding, I think, the waffle iron, and she's fighting her way through the cash checkout. She took place in this mayhem, and I think she was a disgusting part, if you will, in that mayhem. So we get closing time at the diner. Lizzie is locking up. When she goes to punch up for the night, she gets ambushed by John Carver. And all I can say is I'm damn glad, sure, that she was still on the clock getting murdered. So at least she got paid right up
At least she
until
got
her
paid
time
for
of
that.
death. Right?
That's a good
So-
way to picture it.
This kill is so fast and so brutal. And it's not even like all in one area, Justin, because I don't know if this is symbolism because she was part of the carriages that ripped off that lady's head, like
Yup.
scalped her.
Oh,
But
yeah.
John Carver, dude, fucking grabs the back of her head, dunks her into water, and while she is dripping wet, immediately opens the freezer door and fucking sticks her face to it. Then he turns around, he's gonna go get his axe to finish the job. I don't know if I could do this, but she peels not only
Ugh.
her hand off this fucking wall, but her face as well. So she is missing chunks
Ugh.
of skin, and it is just disgusting. She goes to make a run for it, but instead of running outside and just getting the fuck out of town, she goes to hide inside of like the storage closet or like the canned goods area. And she can't call out on her phone because she's trying to swipe up to enter a password, but her hands have no fingertips, dude. So she's just smearing blood all over the screen. She tries the facial recognition. She can't do it, dude, because her face is so fucked up from being stuck to the freezer. She waits a second and then makes the worst decision of your life, which is you leave that closet to look around. What do you think? He's just going to leave? Oh, fuck it. I missed. We'll try again later.
I'm gone.
She grabs her purse, though, and she runs outside. And she's looking for her keys, bro. She can't find them. She's like, fuck, where's my keys? And as she stops in the middle of the parking lot, bro, her car turns on, and we see John Carver behind the steering wheel. He does 1,000 miles an hour after her as she's running towards the dumpster. And before she can jump inside the dumpster for safety, John Carver plows this fucking car into her. And I've never seen a dumpster lid cut someone in half so fucking beautifully in my life.
Perfect decision cut. Perfect cut.
Chops her ass in half. Loved it. Next morning, we see Right Mart, and it's making headlines again because they're having a 50% off sale, Justin. And who's 50% off right now? Fucking Lizzie, because they got the star on Right Mart shoved up her ass.
Dude, they literally, it's insane they put her on. They literally have her on top of that. Like, perfect marketing and everything. But then, like, when like you're at the school next and you see all of a sudden there's an Instagram post that all the kids get tagged in. And you see a dinner table, and like all their names are on the dinner table, and it also has a picture of what Sean just described of the dead woman displayed. And then you see McCarty pull up, and he offers to sell them all guns. And they're like, "What do you mean you're gonna sell them?"
He's
guns?
like, "I should kick your ass for selling us selling kids guns." Yeah. And he's like, "I would never." He's like, "I'm selling them alcohol."
Yeah, I'm selling booze and everything. It's a huge fucking party. You gotta fucking come. It's gonna be the safest place ever. So. And then we see the sheriff now. The sheriff's grilling people, asking Jess, "Hey, like if you know anything, let me know." And everything. And then all of a sudden, she runs into Bobby. Bobby explains how he ghosted everyone and just thinks he's getting better and everything. And just tells Bobby like, "Hey, Kathleen, my mother-in-law. Oh no, I mean, what do you call it? No,
stepmother.
Stepmother. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Yeah,
stepmother.
Yeah, Kathleen. Like she deleted some footage. Like no one's supposed to know, but. She deleted that because she didn't want the bad press or whatever. And she's like, I need to know what's on that. And then we have a little awkward exchange where Bobby's like, hey, Ryan's here. I'll get rid of him. And then he sees that, Ryan's kind of with him, with Jess now. Little awkward. They leave.
There's so much hatred between those two.
I will say when they are on the screen, you do feel the tension pretty good. It's like they cannot stand each other.
And the only thing that stops this awkwardness is they bring Bobby in for questioning.
Exactly. He has to get questioned. But then it's the security guard's turn. We are now at the home of Tip Dale and the security guard. And it's just him and his cat. And he realizes, he turns around and this dude, I mean, he's so funny how he's just talking out loud during this whole scene. He sees like the John Carver mess. He realizes something's wrong. He grabs a baseball bat, yelling and telling how he kills people all the time and everything.
Yeah, don't fuck with me, man. I'm a security guard. I kill people every day.
Yeah, he's telling he's like a stone cold killer. And then, dude, this death scene, how he gets like stabbed in the gut real fast. And then, I don't know, it's like razor wire. This is like ninja style. This dude gets wire like wrapped around his neck. And the guy flips him like over his back. And is friggin' absolutely just decapitates him. This dude's head just rolls off. And then as the killer is like leaving, we see like the poor cat that never even got fed. So what does the killer do, Sean?
He turns around, bro, and he goes and he pours cat food down for the cat and then gives it like a nice little pet and then walks out the door. This has got to be one of my favorite scenes in the movie because like leading up to this, man, he's like, hey, where is he? Like, show daddy where the killer is. There? And the cat just does like that subtle nod, like looks away. Yep. And he's like, all right, he's in there. And that's when he gets the Carver to the gut.
Yeah.
But that ninja style assassin kill was fucking... It was something else.
Yeah, I would not expect that. You don't expect that in like a slasher movie. All of a sudden, you're going to get like friggin' ninja moves and everything. Like, holy shit.
Dude, he takes Manny's head in like a black duffel bag. He leaves. And we finally see that, John Cobb has actually been setting this table. Mm-hmm. And he adds Manny's head to the plate. And we also see the other half of Lizzie sitting at her place setting across the table. And he takes a picture and he posts it on Instagram. And he tags all those fucking kids again. Then we get Sheriff Eric and Detective Chu. They're briefing the sheriff's department on what the killer's been up to. And the only piece of evidence they have is leading them to a place that Justin is extremely familiar with and was so excited when they dropped this reference. Cordage Park. They're heading there right now to investigate. We get Jess, though. She's back at home and she's looking at the security footage from that night while Bobby is actually playing lookout, and he's a fucking terrible lookout. Okay. Ryan, driving by to come check on Jess, actually sees his tow truck in the driveway, and he looks fucking pissed. He's actually giving off killer vibes right now. Like, he's behind some of this, or he's in on it. Just the way he's been acting, and like how easily triggered he is with Bobby back in town. Bobby does, like I said, a real shitty job of being a lookout because Jess's dad pops in at the very last second after Jess closes this security footage.
I say, wait, what?
And he's like, I've been thinking a lot about it, and you're right. I'm sorry. He basically is just trying to make up with his daughter. She gives him a kiss and runs out of the house. They bring all the screenshots she printed, though, back to Eric at the station. They identify Lionel, the mascot, Lonnie from Hanover, as well as his girlfriend, Amy, who was just referred to as some cheerleader chick that probably goes to Hanover, too. And then she even throws Ryan under the bus for dapping up the security guard, Doug. It looks very suspicious right now. We go back to the school, and Evan is reading his report that he got from Jacob, and fucking jokes on him, dude, because Jacob gave him the exact copy from the teacher's actual blog, and now Evan's going to be in trouble for plagiarism. I love how he set fucking Evan up, dude. I was smiling at this. That
was awesome. Perfect. Screw Evan.
Fuck Evan. The group's now hiding out in the cosmetology station, and they're discussing who they think is behind everything. I don't know about you, but this whole scene gave me very Scream vibes.
Dude, so in my notes right now, I literally just wrote, like, this feels so much like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream. This is like kind of like a Scooby-Doo, like, whodunit kind of movie, like it feels like right now. Definitely.
Yeah, they start saying like, oh, it's got to be Ryan. He's got that nice guy routine. And then someone brings up Bobby's name. I think it's Evan. He's like, I'm excluding Bobby. He could be doing this. And she's like, nah, he said he was doing great. And then Scuba makes a very valid point. He's like, telling you he's doing great and actually doing great are two very fucking different things.
Oh, yeah.
But they come to the conclusion that it's 100% got to be Mitch. That dude is up to his eyeballs in fucking motive. I mean, his wife died there, like, for Christ's sakes. Like, if anyone has any reason to be doing this, it's Mitch. We get Lonnie the prick now. We meet Lonnie in Hanover, walking around the gym. Come on, dude. Fucking pump that iron. Let's go. Two more sets. What are you, bunch of girls? We got to get ready. We got to get our fucking pump on, dude. We're going to fucking carve out Plymouth like a fucking turkey.
No, this guy sucks so bad. Just how he's talking just for 2 seconds. I've never hated someone so fast in my whole entire life. But he's interrupted by like a cheerleader kind of like pointing like, hey, like, let's go out there. And he goes, follows the cheerleader. It looks like they're going to have some fun time. He's like, all right, where are we going or whatever. And
hey, what are you doing? You know, coach is very strict. He said no sex.
Yeah. So she takes him over to like, it's going to be a little showtime. She takes him over to like a trampoline and like he sits down and she starts to do, like, looks like she's going to do like a little strip tease and everything on there. But there's different plans. We see John Carver walk behind him, and what a clean. I mean, he grabs Lonnie's head and just twists. His head goes like a complete 180, like breaks the student's neck so fast. But it's not done. The cheerleader doesn't realize. I mean, so she's going up there. She's kind of like flirting with him stuff, and she is bouncing on this trampoline now. But John Carver is underneath the trampoline, and he puts the freaking knife underneath the trampoline. So when she falls down, pretty sure it gets her foot first.
She gets it in the Achilles.
Gets it in the Achilles. So awful. And then as she falls, she is just falling now, and she's getting cut every single time as she was bouncing. I will say, like, this death trampoline scene is so friggin' badass. Like, I love
absolutely iconic.
I love how they're doing the kills in this movie. Like, so good. Absolutely awesome. But obviously,
I honest to God wish that when Lonnie got killed, that Eli Roth chose that song that goes, turn around.
Oh,
every now when he fucking
it would have been so good when his head
gets
turned around.
But
now obviously the freaking game is canceled. And Evan is not even like, he's taking this ridiculous. He's literally like, I'm gonna go play. Like,
Scuba's like, who are you gonna play? You can't play football by yourself, dumbass.
He's literally like running to
Watch
go play.
me.
It's like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Evan is such an airhead, how we already talked about. But Evan and Gabby, they end up heading to the school, and they basically all of a sudden like text Jess to go look for them. And she goes in and looks for them, and she's looking. The school, I mean, isn't abandoned right now, and she like finds her phone in the hallway, and she picks it up. And as she picks it up, she is attacked by John Carver. She's attacked. She's all over the school. There's some pretty cool scenes of her hiding and playing like a cat and mouse game with
Yeah,
him.
dude, in that
But
cosmetology room,
yeah,
that was fucking very well done.
that scene
Where
was
she
really
like
cool.
what you said, she hides in plain sight, dude. And the only thing that gives her away is she's reaching for like shears,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
big ass fucking metal scissors to use in defense. And she knocks over like a can of hairspray, I think.
yep.
And this triggers like a whole fucking battle scene to John Carver coming after her. And the only reason why she gets away is because she's quick-witted enough where she grabs the hairspray right off the floor that's right next to her and sprays him in the face,
Sprays her in the
giving
face.
her
Let's
enough
go.
time to like sprint towards the cops at the front doors.
Oh yeah, and like I said, luckily she escapes, and then they're all out there again, and people are deciding to get pissed. Ryan is there, Bobby's there. She's freaking out. She's yelling at Ryan like, "I saw it." She just like, "Let's go." You know what? We saw you on the tape talking to the security guard. He gets all pissed. He's like, "Look, are you kidding me right now? Like, I'm just getting my Addies, man. I need my Adderall." And
Yeah, I needed
Bobby,
a hookup. I was just dapping him up.
yeah,
Like
he's like,
this is what
what are you
I
doing?"
love his line delivery because it pisses off Bobby so much. He's like, I was just looking for Adderall, bro. He's like, this is what smart kids do so we can get into Ivy League schools so people like you can tow our Porsches.
Yeah, and
And I
like
was like,
ditches him.
ouch, fucking burn, bro.
Burns him right there. And then I said, Bobby and Ryan start going at it, but Jess yells at both of them. And she's like, you know what? Fuck everyone right now. Like, I need to be alone. Like, get out of here. And then out of nowhere, friggin' Yulia, who I mean, we barely know in this movie so far, her
Her-
Russian mobster dad pulls up and just yells at her. He's like, Yulia, get in the car. We're going
No,
to
dude, he
Florida.
doesn't even say car. He's got to make
Like,
sure people know he's rich. He's like, get the
yeah,
Mercedes. We go to Florida.
like that's his line. Like, get in Mercedes, you go to Florida. Like, oh my God.
I
So
love
freaking
how
good.
I love how Jess looks at Scuba and she's like, was that her dad? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know. That's about as much of a conversation
Yeah.
as I've ever had with the guy.
So I mean, that's a character I love. The guy was so fun. He said like two lines there, and that was pretty freaking funny.
But we
Oh,
get Jess and Scuba now. They decide, all right, we're gonna take matters into our own hands because Evan's right, dude. The cops ain't doing shit. So they go visit the Makati party for some weapons. And this dude has shit stashed all over his room. He's offering them magnums. He's got like AKs. I'm surprised he doesn't have a fucking rocket launcher, Justin.
dude, he had what an arsenal.
I think it gets to the point where Scoob is just like, yo, do you have any human sized
Yeah,
guns?
just give me a normal sized person gun.
Yeah, he gives him like a little pistol, a little like shooter. He's like, it's good stopping power. He's like, you're gonna need more than one shot to take something down, though. He also offers a pretty cool belt that's like a knife thing
Mhm.
to Jess, and she turns it down. She's like, stupid decision, in my opinion. She
Just take
turns
the
it down and
weapons.
says, well, Scuba's gonna have a weapon. I'll be fine. No, you
Always take
take the fucking
weapons.
weapon. Always take the weapons. You gear up when you're going into battle. We know
My
this.
God.
And Jess and Scuba are driving now, and they're FaceTiming Yulia, who's packing for Florida. And we see the cop that's on duty to like watch the house while they get ready. Bro, he actually gets tranquilized by John
Mhm.
Carver. And Yulia's dad, bro, I love how he's packing and Yulia's like looking for him and panicking. And when he lifts out his headphones and he's like, you need to get ready, right? They'll be here soon. He's playing like fucking some kind of like boppy, like boom, 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 boom,
So
like disco
too funny.
music. I
Too
don't know what the
funny.
hell. Yeah, but he also gets tranquilized by John Carver. Now he's in the bedroom with Yulia. She's FaceTiming them again, and she bends down to throw a Q-tip away. And when she comes up, they see John Carver, and all hell is gonna break loose because he grabs two corn on the cob like holders and fucking stabs her in the ears. This sent shivers down my spine, Justin.
That was oh
Because when she drops to the floor, dude, he grabs her phone and like turns the camera towards him and like waves and then turns it back towards her before he shuts it off. But this kill takes away not only her hearing, but throws her equilibrium way the fuck off. So she can't get up and run away. The first time I saw this movie, the first like reaction in my head was get up and run away. But she can't because her fucking body's all
yeah, you don't want your
disoriented
ears
and
stabbed.
flopping around. Jess and Scuba finally get to the house, dude, and they go inside, and John Carver has got Yulia to knife point. Scuba pulls out his gun, but like an idiot, bro, he leaves the safety on. And this gives John Carver just enough time to turn the table saw on and throw Yulia on top of it while he makes his escape. This fucking kill was gruesome, incredibly bloody, entrails all over the place. And because they're doing construction work in this house, it is like the perfect kill room, bro. There's not a spot of blood anywhere left on the walls, on the floor, anything. My heart breaks for fucking Scuba right here
That was
because
gross.
he pulls her right off the table and lays down, and he loves her, but he's in shock. And the only thing he can say is he's like, Jess, what do I do? Like, Jess, what do I do? I don't know what to do. Oh, dude, my heart broke for him right here. This was an emotional scene in a fucking crazy ass movie.
That was pretty insane. Like that. Oh God, yeah, that poor Scuba, man. But now they're moving on. So back with the cops and everything, and they're all coming. Everyone's together. They're gonna come up as a plan. They're gonna use them as bait. They're gonna set a trap because tomorrow is the big day at the parade, and they're talking about how they have the whole entire supply room and everything. How they're gonna make it look empty. They're gonna have cops hiding in there. They're gonna lure them in there. Boom, catch them. This
Yeah,
is foolproof.
what could go wrong, dude? The
What
foolproof plan.
Yeah, what could go wrong? And anyway, now it is parade time, and we see the floats are going on. We see there's officers everywhere. Like I said, they're gonna make it look empty. It's all good. And you see on the float, they're a little paranoid and stuff.
Before,
You see Jess.
before she gets on though, this is a crucial part of the film.
Yep.
McCarty gives her a ring, and he says, "This is my dad's lucky ring from Iraq. It could save your life." And that's it. So we don't know anything about this
Right.
ring, what it does, what it's for. For all we know, dude, it's probably a fucking gun.
Yeah, who knows? He just really said he just randomly slips her that. And she's on the floor. You're looking around, you see cops everywhere. You see a lot of people. They're getting paranoid. You see a lot of people wearing the John Carver mask. Like that really is everywhere. And then you got to scare a bunch of John Carver mask people that run out and actually have like a protest and stall the parade. But it was actually just Mitch with a bunch of people. So thank God that was nothing. And as they're going out of nowhere, you see a freaking clown with an axe chops the mascot's head straight off. Everyone stops. These floats start going into each other. We have a freaking boat float goes into the truck in front of them, where the top of the wooden part impales this whole dude's face. Just it goes through this
Dude,
guy's.
It's got like his nose
It
stuck on the
literally
very tip.
made him look like Pinocchio with blood shooting everywhere. But I mean, it's not even over. We got this clown dude. He's throwing smoke canisters everywhere. This looks like a Joker scene of like Batman. Like
I have that in my notes. I go,
Gotham.
this looks like a scene out of The Dark Knight.
I was just gonna say this seems like the Dark Knight because it is so unbelievably cool shot. You got smoke everywhere, you got chaos, and then the clown walks into the police car and he's got a tranquilizer gun and he literally shoots he shoots Jess,
Dude,
Thomas, Kathleen, Scuba, and just tranquilizes them like just straight up point blank. And he literally just drives away like so fast, like clean getaway. Like holy shit, what even just happens?
Dude, and what happens next is just absolutely
Oh.
mayhem because we now see Kathleen is on a table, bro, and she is being prepped like she's a fucking turkey. He's putting melted butter on her, salt, pepper, parsley. He's got
all the herbs and spices.
Dude, he's got carrots, potatoes, everything around her. While he walks away, though, to go preheat the oven, we notice that Jess is actually awake and she makes a break for it. She starts playing like a little cat and mouse game downstairs before running fully upstairs and shutting the door behind her. This fridge, I don't, why would you open it, first of all?
Yeah.
She hears like a noise, I think. No, she doesn't even hear a noise, bro. I think she just opens it.
She's like,
and she sees like a bottle of wine and she goes to grab it to use it for her defense. But Amy, the cheerleader from the trampoline scene, is in like a fucking preserve bag.
Yeah.
And she wakes up in the fridge because she's cold. And fucking Kathleen is like, shh, he's here. Like, I'll be back in a minute. She shuts the door on her. But at this point, it's a little too late because there's fucking blood all over the floor. And Kathleen, like a fucking idiot, doesn't realize she's stepping in it. So she trails it all over the fucking house, dude. John Carver comes upstairs, sees this trail, and decides to play along. He stops before he enters the other room. And Kathleen is on the opposite side of a wall with that bottle of wine, ready to fucking break it over his head. And he turns around and he acts like he walks away and shuts the door. And when Kathleen lets out like a sigh of relief and starts creeping to the edge to see if he's really gone, bro, puts the pitchfork through the fucking wall, just missing her head, causing her to scream and try to run away. If this fucking door's been open the whole time, bro, why didn't you go out it the first way?
I was gonna say, just go out the table.
Because she opens that fucking door like it's been open and it's never been locked. But as she runs through this door, our man John Carver must have been an Olympian at some point because he shot puts this fucking like it's a javelin. He
Seriously.
takes this and just throws it dead nuts accuracy right through her fucking spine, drags her back into the house, and it's cooking time. He sticks her ass in the oven. And I absolutely love the fact that while she's in there pleading for her life, he opens the door like he actually might let her out.
Right.
And instead,
no,
he sticks the fucking turkey popper in her arm and then shuts the door for turkey popper to go off to let him know when she's fully cooked.
Those scenes were absolutely wild. And after all that happens, like the cops get all excited, like, wait, like he's live streaming. The live stream turns on and he's live streaming from Cottage Park. So everyone get there real fast. So you see him, like everyone's going there. SWAT team gets there and everything, and all the cops, and they're looking. They're like, "What the hell? Like, how do we even get in here?" And they tell them, that, "Oh, well, there's like a tunnel system and everything." So they get really excited. You see them going into the tunnel system, and the SWAT team they find something, but they go there and they find the room where it should be, and all of a sudden you see a phone, but it's off. The phone is set up and it's recording a friggin' monitor placed in front of them.
It's a recording of a recording. That's
recording of a recording. Like that kind of reminded me of like Saw. Like how many different times in Saw, like I don't even know which one, but like when they like think they track to a place and there's like nothing there. But like you said, it's a recording of a friggin' recording. Damn it! Like they're so pissed, and unfortunately, the live stream is still going, and we see the friggin' Thanksgiving table right now. And as Sean just talked about how Kathleen is getting cooked, she is now brought out. Dinner is being served. All of them that are captured are all friggin' tied there. We have all the food friggin' in front of him. He's using like the voice modifier, and
he's got like a microphone, like he's a host at the carnival. You know, like those things they talk into, and like around, step right up.
Yeah, so he's literally talking as the friggin' host with that friggin' thing. And I don't know, man. My favorite part, like he's like, you know what? I think we need some fine wine with this, and he takes like a corkscrew. And he plugs it into the girl's neck, like who's already, and he's filling up his wine glass, like pushing her so more blood comes out.
Yeah,
like,
and he's like, this should pair nicely with Kathleen. Puts it down and then goes, you might want to let that breathe for a minute.
How is that a real scene? I could not even believe that.
Like you said, poor Evan. All John Carver wants him to do is be thankful. Let him know what he's thankful for. And Evan does what anyone would do is when he removes the gag, he starts screaming their location. Yep. To which John Carver says, no, like that's not going to happen.
Did not like that.
And he drops like so many little one-liners. He's like, he's like, this is going to break the internet. He's like, sometimes when you want to go famous, it's not about the video. He's like, you really got to hit him over the head with it.
Oh.
And he just starts caving his fucking head in with this mallet looking thing. And then right after he's done caving like the head in, fucking he walks over and he goes up to Thomas Wright and he starts talking about Kathleen. And now it's time for him to become the consumer. So he starts cutting into Kathleen's thigh. Bro, the grossest part of this whole ordeal isn't when Evan gets his head smashed in. I don't think it's when John Carver carves up Kathleen's thigh for Thomas to eat.
I don't know, yeah.
I 100% think it's when Thomas fucking pukes in his mouth and he's gagged and it's got nowhere to go.
Why did I know you were going to say that?
That bodily fluid, dude, just grossed me the fuck out.
I literally was like, Sean's going to hate the scene. He's definitely going to mention that.
Dude, and then while John Carver is fucking live streaming this whole thing, we see Jess fiddles with the ring that McCarty gave her. Yep. And it turns out it's like a little knife. So she uses this to cut into the ropes, freeing herself. And instead of trying to make a getaway on her own, she does the logical thing. She hands this off to Scuba, and Scuba does the same thing. The only difference is once Scuba's done, he immediately starts attacking John Carver. Because let's be honest, dude, Scuba's fucking built like a brick shit house.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Evan both have height, size, weight, the whole 9 yards on whoever John Carver is.
Yep.
And this little fight breaks out, and it gives them just enough time to make their way out of the doors and make a fucking run for it. And they make their way and they get through the door that brings them upstairs, and they realize they're in the John Carver house, the one that was trashed where they were supposed to shoot the commercial. Scuba then takes an axe to the arm, and JC just leaves his ass behind because he's like, all right, he ain't going nowhere. And he starts his pursuit of Jessica, which leads into the woods and over a fence to grandmother's house we go.
Dude, I literally was just like thinking that. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a freaking song right there. I love though now we got like a cool. You got to have like the woods chase in the slasher and everything. Like I said, so she gets over the freaking fence and she is just running. And we actually see in the distance, we see like a cop car with a light on and like the door open. So she runs over there, and we see freaking sheriff, and the sheriff is just laying on the ground, like he is like knocked out. And she's like kind of like, oh, what the hell? Like, hey, wake up! But she grabs his gun. And she heads into the building, and like we see Bobby head into the building as well. And she runs in there, and the sheriff is back. The sheriff reaches her. We hear gunshots going off in there, and the sheriff comes up and he's like, you know what? I think I got him. I think I got him. Like we should be all good right now. And then the deputy comes out and makes the sheriff. He says, hey, look, like we need you to turn over your gun. The police are all talking to Jess, and like everything seems like it should be over.
Jess just asked for a minute, and she's like, hey, before we get out of here and we head downtown, can I just have a minute to catch my breath? Like, this shit was a lot. And Eric is like, yeah, no problem. I'll come back.
Yep.
Then when he comes back, he sits down, and Jess is ready to go now. And just as she stands up and she looks down and she looks at Sheriff Eric's feet, and he's got what the hell are those things called? They're fucking everywhere. I'm drawing a blank.
Not sure.
Help me out, Justin.
Not
the plant that she runs through in the woods that gets stuck to her, that she's peeling off her
clothes.
Oh
yeah, she's peeling. I know. Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
I can't think of it, but whatever it is, dude, it's also stuck to Sheriff Eric's feet, and and she puts two and two together, and you can see the panic in her face, dude. And Eric is like, "Is everything all right?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just don't feel well. Like, all right, I'm ready to go now." And as they go to walk out the door, he realizes that she was looking at his feet, and he just goes, fuck. And like, you can hear him speaking in like previous tones from earlier in the movie when he's like, it's about the small details. That's how these guys get caught.
Yep.
And he shuts the door and turns around. He was like, if only you were on that fence for 2 more seconds. It's like fumbling the football at the 1 yard line.
Oh yeah.
And then he starts putting on his gloves, and he's getting ready to kill Jess.
Like right before that happened, he goes on the whole monologue how he's basically saying like he used Jess the whole entire time, and she's kind of like, why would you, like, he tells his whole motive, and that's what he basically says, like, remember Amanda who died earlier? He literally says Amanda was gonna leave Mitch for him, and it shows him like talking to her in the beginning of the friggin' movie, and he basically says, and like, that's my family. Like, apparently Amanda was pregnant with Eric's friggin' baby. So never mind. So that shows his whole entire motive and everything. And then, like you said, it goes right into the grateful for your service and how he's recording her.
And she just says, I'm grateful for the service in here. And it turns out, dude, she's been live streaming this whole thing. So now everyone knows Eric is John Carver. And a fucking hunt is on, dude, because Bobby, I think he smashes something through the window to distract him. And now Bobby and Jess are out in like the big ass open, I don't know if it's a warehouse area.
Yeah, it's like a warehouse, yeah.
And they're hiding. Dude, sometimes in horror movies, I'm like, why wouldn't you just run for the fucking door?
Right.
They decide to hide in the costumes, giving him a chance to like catch up to him. And while they're doing this, dude, Eric comes out. And he drops one of the best lines in the movies. He's like, Jessica, this Thanksgiving, there will be no leftovers.
So over the top, but so freaking good. And like I said, this was like, I mean, I guess you could just run, but this was a pretty epic game of like cat and mouse of them just like hiding and everything.
And eventually they make it to Bobby's tow truck, and he goes to like speed away. And again, dude, I don't know why his tow cables are fully undone and on the floor. I just blows my mind at some of this shit, but they're on the floor, they're driving away, and there's enough slack in this tow line to give Eric enough time to then wrap it around one of the pillars and tie it up. And then it fucking yoinks the truck because this truck isn't powerful enough, nor does it have enough speed yet to actually rip down one of the support beams in this warehouse. So it gets stuck to it, and now it's just sitting there spinning and burning rubber. But before they get into this truck, we get a little foreshadowing while they're running away. Jess actually sees a propane tank that's hooked up to this gigantic fucking turkey, and she turns it on. Now, they do this to like help the balloons and shit float. They use heat, kind of like a hot air balloon in parades. But this thing is now full of propane, and Jess is stuck on the back of this tow truck, and she just goes, "Hey, Eric, you're right. This Thanksgiving, there will be no leftovers."
Oh.
And she fires after loading a musket with her mother's bracelet into this musket, dude. She fires it into this gigantic inflated flammable turkey, and an explosion just fucking happens. Right after this explosion, I mean, they drive away because apparently fire is enough to break free the tow cable and nothing else. Yeah. Fire crews, emergency first responders, everyone's on scene now. Jess is out. She's sitting there with, I think, the deputy and Sheriff Chu. And firefighter comes out and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "we couldn't find a body." He's like, "But everything in there is ash. Nothing could have survived this explosion." And then we start seeing firefighters walking out with fully tinted oxygen masks, giving Eric the perfect cover to escape. All he's got to do is knock one of these guys out, stick him in a closet somewhere, get fully dressed, and then bon voyage, dude. Homie's gone. Going completely unnoticed. I think it's a great cover, just dressed like a firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Jess is actually in bed with Ryan now, trying to just unwind, let everything go. And she's staring at her closet door. It's pitch black. She goes and she is jump scared by an on fire Eric. And he grabs her and pulls her into the closet. Just kidding. It was all a dream.
Let's go.
Time to wake up. Daytime. The end. End
Game
credits.
over.
Let's go.
Thanksgiving. It's all over.
Hallelujah.
Let's go.
I fucking love this movie, Justin.
Yep.
I mean, there's not very many Thanksgiving movies out there,
right?
But I love this movie so much. I love the kills. The storyline is actually believable, although it is a little far-fetched that someone would just murder everyone and all this shit would actually happen. I mean, granted, it is an exaggeration on how Black Friday, I think, used to be. I've never experienced a Black Friday like this.
Yeah.
But shit is just wild. And he uses consumerism to like the perfect extent to create this killer. Yeah. And like I said, these kills are what makes this movie. The acting, is it the best in the world? No, but it's very suitable. They don't murder these Boston accents. It's you can tell Eli Roth is a homebody, like he is from Massachusetts, and he knows the inner workings. He drops the cottage park. You fuck Hanover. Love it. Just the small diner feels like there is just so much shit as a fellow masshole, if you will. That I can appreciate in this movie. And I often am down in Plymouth. And this, although it wasn't shot in Plymouth, gives very Plymouth vibes.
Yeah, they did good at that. Definitely did good on that.
The kills, the whole 9 yards, dude, I'm giving this movie an 8.7. I love this movie, especially as a holiday horror extravaganza. I've watched this movie like 7 times leading into this.
Let's go. Yeah, I agree with most of what you said. Love the vibes. Obviously, I got way excited just like living in Plymouth and hearing all like the local stuff. And I mean, I don't even want to repeat all the shit. The kills were friggin' awesome. Like I remember when I first saw this in the theater, like the first couple of minutes, I was like a little upset because I was kind of wanted like that Grindhouse movie that like it looked like we were promised from the trailer of the original thing of why we made this movie. But I actually love Scream, and like I know you did last summer, and this kind of felt like there was like throwback to like almost like those 90s like whodunit slasher movies, and I freaking love those so much. So I still love this. The only thing I didn't like is I kind of didn't really care for the characters. I thought the characters weren't that great at all. I didn't care for any of them, even the ones I was supposed to like. I just thought the characters were like really.
Can I agree with you real quick? I don't mean to cut you off, but can I add something to that real quick? Rewatching this as many times as I did, I didn't care for any of these characters, but the one character I did start growing fondly of, believe it or not, was Sheriff Eric.
Yep.
He was the only one I got attached to.
Really?
Like I don't know why,
No
and it's
shit.
not because he was a killer, but like
Yeah.
the amount of shit that was just laid at this guy's feet. Like his wife left him, and then he finally had,
Yep.
like he says, Amanda helped put me back together. And it just these things just kind of happen sometimes. People fall in and out of love, but then to lose her
Yep.
on top of losing an unborn child, and then having everyone in town just lay everything at your feet nonstop and just put this on you. Like I started to feel and not encourage or side with what he was doing, but understand him more as a villain.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really think that usually leads people to cooking people and feeding them to each other's
Yeah, I
families.
mean, just part of it.
But I know what you're saying. But I still give this, like I said, it's like the characters I just didn't care for even a little bit. But the kills were so much fun, and just being Plymouth and everything, I still love it, and I give it. I think the first time I saw it, I gave it like a 9. But after seeing it a second time, I'll give this an 8 out of 10. I think it's definitely a fun movie, especially like I said, if you love like those kind of Scream movies. I give it a solid
So
8.
when you say it brings you back to like the very Scream vibes where they drop like subtle hints that tell you who's the killer right away,
Yeah, yeah.
I wrote down 3 lines on rewatches that give me that Eric's the killer right off the rip.
Yep.
In the first scenes, he goes, for a single guy, I sure do know my way around an oven.
Yep.
And then there's another scene where he's sitting down with Jessica and he's like, Jessica, if there's anything that can help us with that night, I promise I'll keep it between us, just me and you, because this is a matter of life and death. He doesn't want to share it with the department. He wants it just for himself.
Right.
But my dead giveaway is when it's right before they discover that the John Carver house has been trashed.
Yep.
And he literally says, oh, I'm sure you'll make an excellent dinner, Kathleen.
Yeah.
Kathleen.
Crazy. It's funny too. Like I said, obviously the first time watching it is more shock. I was like shocked. I didn't expect it right away, even though. But yeah, the second time I did pick up on that. I'm like, oh my god, this guy says some shady shit throughout the whole entire movie.
He even says it at the end when he's chasing them through the warehouse.
Yeah.
He's like, when I told Kathleen she'd make an excellent dinner, I wasn't lying.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. You got any fun facts or anything? Or
I've got quite a few. Do you want to go first, or do you want?
Yeah, I'll go first. I just wrote a few. Like I said, this was filmed in Toronto, not Plymouth, which Sean mentioned earlier. I was very disappointed because I actually saw it at work the day they were shooting, and they were talking about extras. I saw it on Twitter, and I'm like, oh my god! Like I was getting ready to go home, so I was like, I'm gonna drive right through Plymouth, and I'm gonna make myself get into this movie. I'm just gonna go see where they're shooting. I'm gonna try to become an extra. Turns out it was Toronto. I did not drive all the way to Toronto.
You should have.
Yeah, right. I also write Tonic the cat was the same cat that actually starred in Pet Sematary, the 2019 Pet Sematary. So we have a horror famous cat. He went out of his way to try to not waste any kills, and he said he really wanted to make sure every single kill was special and creative. A really cool one about Lizzie, the diner person. Do you know she was actually from Hanover? How does that even work? Like
she's
the girl,
she's from Hanover. Who's she the great niece of?
Oh my god, I read that. I didn't write it down. Was it John
She
Carver?
is the 9th great niece of John Carver.
I was gonna say, was it John Carver? And just another thing, living like I'm from. It's so cool too because I mean I'm from fucking Carver, Mass, and like the John Carver Inn is like right down the street. So it is so cool hearing like this John Carver stuff when I literally go past the John Carver Inn every single day of my life. But the last thing I got was one of the grandmas in the very early scenes is Lynn Griffin. And she's from Black Christmas 74. I love Black Christmas so much. She literally played Claire in Black Christmas. So I thought that was so cool to have one of the girls from friggin' Black Christmas 74 in this movie. And that's all I wrote down. Let's go. That's all I got.
Like you mentioned the cat earlier. Did you know Eli Roth said that the cat in the movie was such a good actor and it performed on cue that he actually started to call him Leonardo DiCaprio?
I saw that. That's so ridiculous.
I think it's so good. This is actually the 3rd movie in the 5 mock trailers seen in the Grindhouse films. Eli Roth directed Thanksgiving. That is shown between Planet Terror and Death Proof. The other 2 movies that were actually made into full-length features are Machete and Hobo with the Shotgun. This leaves 2 more movies to be made in Don't, and one that Justin, I think, would be very excited to see, which is Werewolf Women of the SS, combining Nazis and werewolves and women.
You know I need that.
The line from the original fake trailer, white meat, dark meat, all will be carved. is actually seen in one of the Instagram posts from the Carver in this movie.
Yep.
The cosmetology classroom wasn't in the script at all. Like it wasn't even part of this movie. It wasn't intended to have anything to do, but it was a real location in this high school, and the filmmakers actually loved it so much that they wrote scenes specifically for it.
That's cool.
Eli Roth also cites that this movie is his magnum opus, and I think it is. I think this is one of the best things he's ever put on screen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna just say like I'm not even like I don't love Eli Roth at all. Like I don't like a lot of his movies. I'm just not even excited about this, but this and Cabin Fever, I absolutely love. Like I don't hate Eli Roth. I don't love Eli Roth. I think he's just a horror director. Like it's not like I'm excited every time he drops a movie, even a little bit. But I thought this was awesome. This and Cabin Fever, I really liked.
Just for comparison, when we talk about the Thanksgiving movie from the trailers, Eli Roth and screenwriter Jeff Rendell's original idea for the Carver's motives was that he was a boy who had actually fallen in love with the turkey, and his dad had actually killed this turkey on the holiday. And in retaliation, the kid murders his whole family, and years later would come back and take revenge on this town after being sent to a mental institution for the crimes.
I read that. It was a complete, we almost had a complete different movie.
I would love that if he dropped it, if he just made Thanksgiving movie after Thanksgiving movie after Thanksgiving movie, right. Just completely different storylines. All different,
like how Halloween was like originally supposed to be, like stuff like after like just different story every single time.
I would be so here for it. Did you know Eli Roth actually makes cameos in this movie?
I don't know if I knew that or not.
He is one of the journalists questioning the emerging murders throughout the movie.
No shit. Let's go.
He does small things in this movie that tie everything together, like these small cues. Like we talked about the lines. But one of my favorite things he does is the meat tenderizer that is used to destroy Evan's head.
Oh god, yeah.
Is actually a weapon made between a mallet and a waffle iron plate. Yep. And that waffle, it's the same waffle iron from the giveaway the year that everything happened at Price Right.
I did read that. That's cool.
Patrick Dempsey actually reached out to Eli Roth's agent and expressed interest in participating in this movie. Roth was ecstatic with the idea, but he said he didn't know if the production could actually afford Dempsey's rate. To which his agent assured him, no, Patrick really wants to do this fucking horror movie. He read it. He loves the script. Doesn't really care what you pay him. Dempsey actually grew up in a small town in Maine. So his accent in this movie was just normal.
Yep.
Which is probably why, I think we talked about this the first time we covered it, why his didn't feel forced at all. It just felt very natural.
Right.
The decapitation of the turkey during the parade, a girl Amy getting killed on the trampoline, and the person being cooked and prepared like a turkey. These were all directly inspired from the actual Thanksgiving trailer scene in Grindhouse. So he paid nods to his own trailer.
His own fake trailer. Yep.
And then let's tie in Halloween 78 real quick. So
I meant to mention.
I was hoping you got it.
Yeah, no, I forgot to.
So in homage to Halloween 1978, this film actually starts with a point of view shot from the killer's perspective approaching a house. This also foreshadows and reveals that Sheriff Eric Nolan is the killer right off the rip.
And not even that, he did a whole nother scene. I mean, that is all, but the favorite one was he did a whole scene based on Laurie in the classroom. I forgot to mention earlier when I think it was Jess in the diner. She looks outside and there's like a John Carver mask guy like just standing there like looking at her. And then of course when she looks back, he's gone. I meant to mention that earlier.
I actually had that written down in my notes, but we talked so fast going back and forth that I completely forgot.
I was gonna say I had that written down too, but I love that scene.
All right, if that's all we got, then that's all we got.
Let's do it.
That's all we got. That's all you got.
That's all we got.
All right, hackstabslash. Go eat some turkey. Make sure it's not a human.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm Hacky. This guy right here, just Justin. Peace. Happy Thanksgiving. Peace.
We're out. Whoa.
You're fucking right. We're out, dude. Your background's just disappearing.
Boom. I'm like gone. See you later.